Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and today I'm opening a box of Grand Archive trading card game. So about a month ago, I think I opened a box that I got from Kickstarter, but now this is the retail release. So I said in that video that I was going to build some decks and play some games on camera. I still fully plan to do that, but I decided, with the retail release, with picking up this box, let's just take this chance and improve the decks a little bit further before we get to the gameplay portion of it. So if you haven't seen them already, I do have some Grand Archive videos on the channel already. The most recent one was with the Lorraine demo decks that are the neutral type element only, and are those demo decks that are available in game stores. But I also have a couple older videos that I played on Tabletop Simulator with some of the previous versions of the game, previous versions of the starter decks. So this pack, if it's anything like the Kickstarter box, is just spirits, but let's get it open and see if there's anything else inside here. I think is that a foil, or is that just a plastic wrap tricking me with reflecting light? All right, so we got fire, fire, water, water, wind, wind. So just the three basic spirits, two of each. So I definitely have plenty of those now. And I guess let's just take our packs out and make some room. And let's make a spot for a stack of cards too, right here. Or maybe here. I don't have my scissors with me, so I'm going to be lazy and see if I can get these open without risk of tearing any cards. All right, that was doable. Let's see, pack one. Oh, let's see, maybe I can figure out the rarity sequencing, but this is Common Lorraine. We got Gray Wolf. So I'll probably go faster if I've already seen the card, like in the previous box opening. Also, even though I haven't done videos yet, I did put together one Tamer deck out of that box, and I played that Tamer deck a couple times against the pre-constructed Rye deck, and the Tamer deck actually won both times. I feel like I got a little lucky, but it was a close matchup for at least those two games. So I got a little more experience under my belt now in terms of recognizing a lot of the cards and playing the game a bit more. I don't think I've seen this one. Stillwater Patrol, Ranger Human, True Sight can attack stealth, and while doing so, she gets +1 attack. Training Session, put a buff counter on an ally you control. That's slow. Rallied Advance, Wind. On attack, wake up an ally you control. Okay, so it's just a small little attack with a class bonus for Guardians and Warriors to be able to attack with one of your allies again, or have it up for retaliation. Swift Recruit has Intercept and Floating Memory. Oh, that's a nice little card. Actually, it's not even a warrior card. It is a warrior card, but it doesn't have a class bonus. So this is a nice card for probably most win decks. We have Alan, the Lineage Break Tamer, Savage Slash, Spark a Light, unpreventable damage to a unit, class bonus 3 instead for mages. First uncommon is Blitz Mage, just a 3/1 for 3. So she hits hard. Blue Slime. Actually, I did build a Tamer water deck, so this might be a good addition. It's a slime, but it's also a beast. Pride 4 is a little big, but controllable. I found out between like the different bonuses. I think it's the ears and the flutes and stuff. You can control Pride 4 even at level 2 pretty easily. And when it's dealt damage, put a buff counter on it. Ooh, as a 1/4. Okay, and it grows and grows. This is pretty solid. And Anger the Skies, rare. Deal 3 damage to all allies. Class bonus for mages, deal 4 instead. This is a pretty good mage spell to slow down the game, and really cool artwork. Also, I vaguely remember that this might be one of the new arts for the retail release, the Alter Edition, as opposed to the Kickstarter set. So very cool art either way. I'll put our rare stack on camera and go into pack 2. All right, so we don't have to order the cards. They just put the rare at the back. Very convenient for me. Got another Rye. Backstab. As long as your champion is attacking a rested unit +2. That's a class bonus, but any assassin can do that. 2 cost to deal attack for 4 against an exhausted unit. Flame Lash Subduer, Tamer. So fire ally for Tamers. Champion gets +1 level as long as you control an animal or beast. And you can exhaust her to deal 2 damage to an ally you control to give it +2. Oh, so she'll whip it into shape. So it seems like every element has one of these tamers. Again, I was using the water one. Each player draws a card. Mistbound Watcher. For mage at the beginning of your end phase, put an enlighten counter on your champion. That's not bad. As a 2-cost 03. It doesn't intercept though. It's just kind of sit there waiting to get attacked while it helps you build up enlightenment. Smoke bombs, banish it to give an ally stealth and draw a card. Pretty good. Deep Sea Beast Spawner. So here's the water tamer ally I was talking about. So I guess her ability is just floating memory, which is pretty nice. I did find myself being pretty tight on cards to try to level up or anything like that. Deflecting Edge costs 1 less if you have a sword, prevent 3 damage to a unit. Juggle Knives deals 1, and if you're an assassin or ranger, draw a card. I like that. Second Wind, wake up an ally. Class bonus gets +1 attack. And there's our uncommon mana limiter. You can't remove enlighten counters, but you can banish this to draw a card if you have a 6 or more enlighten counters. So this is in the precon. It's pretty good. And Excalibur, super rare. All right. So sword, mage sword, costs 0. And it attacks for 1, has 3 uses. On enter, choose a player. That player gains control of it. Whenever you materialize a card, deal 2 damage to your champion. Okay, so this is a sword it's cursed. So you materialize this, give it to your opponent if you're a mage. And now your opponent is punished for materializing anything. Although they do get a free weapon, right? They get to attack, and after 3 uses, that will be gone. And they get to hit you 3 times. So plus and minus for sure. But I assume that if they made it, it must be good, right? That's not always the case. And I found out that you get like a 12-card materialization deck in the game. That is like not a ton. Like it sounds like it might be a lot, but it actually gets used up pretty quickly because I think your spirit counts. So now that's, and plus if you want to play 3 levels of champion, which you probably do, that's already 4 levels, or 4 cards out of the 12. That's a third of your materialization deck that is used up. Cram Session, your champion gets +1 level until end of turn. Floating memory, it's not bad. Revitalizing Cleanse, reveal all your memory. Recover X, so heal health, where X the amount of water elements revealed, and then draw a card. That's a cleric spell, but it doesn't have a class bonus requirement. We got our Enraged Boars. So I played with this one. Pride 5 was like a little hard to get to, but not too hard. And you get a nice beefy 4/4. But as a 5 cost, this isn't great, but it does hit very hard. Wind Cutter +1 for Rangers and Warriors. Deals 1 or 2. Reveal a card at random from your memory. If it's wind, put this into your memory. Okay. A little bit of randomness. 2 cost, 2 damage, and it might be a free card. All right. Port Smuggler. Class bonus for assassins. Her attacks can't be intercepted, but she doesn't hit very hard. Maybe if you pump her up a little bit. Wind Rider Vanguard has vigor if you're a guardian or warrior. She wakes up at the beginning of your end phase, so she can retaliate after attacking. And Crystal of Empowerment for +2 levels until end of turn. Drowned Cut. 1 cost, 2 damage attack with floating memory for assassins. Extortion Scheme, uncommon. Suppress an ally an opponent controls. Banish it and return it at the beginning of the next end phase. So it's fast, so you could deny them an attacker, or you could take out an interceptor to jump in with an attack. And if you're an assassin, you get a preparation counter as well. Still don't know what those do. Bubble Mage rests unit. If you're a mage, it also takes 1 extra damage when it takes damage. Ooh, and another Arima Gaia's Wing. So now I have 2 of these. So my Tamer deck is getting beefed up. Yeah, I opened one of these in the Kickstarter deck, and I put it in my deck, of course, but I didn't draw it, so I never got to play with this yet. Now I have 2, so that'll improve the odds that Arima Gaia's Wings will come out. But Pride 5 costs 3, so you have to be level 3 Sylvie to be able to activate it, which is not super easy. Pride 5 is also not, well, Pride 5 once you're level 3 is kind of easy, I think. But then at the beginning of each of your turns, it gets 3 count plus counters, so it becomes a 6/6. And if it dies, it just goes to your memory, so you can bring it back. So if the game just keeps going on and on, Arima will keep coming back and back. There's Xander. Let's see, does it say anywhere on Xander what those preparation counters do? No. I gotta keep an eye out. I need to read Xander's and see if I can find out what preparations are. For Warrior, one target dagger or sword weapon gets +1 damage and draw a card. Kingdom Informant, stealth. So can't be targeted by attacks unless permitted by True Sight. Well, 2 cost 1/2 with floating memory is kind of nice. Not bad. Seafaring Mercenary, 3 cost 1/4 floating memory. Refurbish puts 2 durability, 2 extra uses on a weapon you control. Opening Cut. As long as there's 1 card in your memory, it gets +2 damage. So basically, if you haven't played anything else that costs memory, because you'd pay 1, putting 1 card in your memory, and now you'd meet that requirement and attack for 3 if you're a warrior. Menagerie Beast Bonder. So here's our Wind Beast Bonder. The Tamer ally, your champion gets +1 level as long as you have an animal or beast, and then floating memory. So this is basically the same as the water one, but it's cheaper and has less health, which seems better. A whole card cheaper for just 1 less health? I'm a little jealous of Wind. Merlin, Lineage Break Mage, Planted Explosive, Prepare 1. Oh, you may remove a preparation counter from your champion as you activate this card. Okay. So maybe preparation is a card effect only token. Deal 2 damage to a unit. If it was prepared, deal 4 instead. So maybe preparations are just for effects like that, I suppose. And it looks like you don't have to be an assassin to use preparation counters, because this doesn't have a class bonus requirement on it. So I assume if you can get a counter without being an assassin, then you can spend a preparation without being an assassin. Surveillance Stone. The opponent declares an attack with a 3rd unit. You can draw a card. These are in the starter decks. Ember Song. Deal 2 damage to an ally. Class bonus for Tamers. Give an ally you control +2 attack until end of turn. That seems pretty good. And it's a melody, so it can synergize with some of the cards care about if you played memories. Yeah, that seems quite good. And a rare Erupting Rhapsody. Banish any amount of fire element cards. Should be any number of fire element cards from your graveyard. Your champion gets +1 level until end of turn for each one. And as a mage, okay, so that could be very good. You can kind of go off in 1 turn. You've activated a melody card, choose any amount of units, any number of units, and deal level damage split among them. And that's all for a 2 cost. So you kind of have to blow your load. You have to banish a bunch of fire element cards from your graveyard. And that there's not super easy to build up, but maybe if you build like all fire, maybe a little bit of arcane, you could go off with that. Feeling a little rough with the packs now. There's Lorraine. Rebellious Bull enters rested, pride 3, 5 cost 3/4. Okay, so I'd rather have the other one. What was it, the 4/4? It has an extra attack. I don't really mind that it enters rested. No, I do, because you can't attack with it right away. And in Grand Archive, you can attack right away. So it's the same cost of 5. It's just, do you have pride 3 or pride, was it 4? Or it might have been 5, but it's still, I'd rather just have the higher pride requirement and have the higher attack and be able to attack right away. Strategic Planning lets you glimpse 2 and get a preparation. So yeah, you can definitely get a preparation without being an assassin, because this also doesn't require a class bonus. Zephyr Assistant on enter for a mage, get an enlighten counter. On it leaves, not when it dies or anything, just anytime it leaves, get another enlighten counter. So you could do maybe shenanigans to get this to leave play and come back somehow. You get a bunch of enlightenment there. Ornamental Greatsword on enter, target ally you control gets +1 until end of turn from the materialization. Favorable Winds, your allies get +1 health, and then floating memory. Peer into Mana, also in the starter deck, lets you get enlightenment counters, potentially a lot of them if you have a high level. Enlightenment counters can be turned into cards. Another preparation, if it was prepared, it has +2, so 2 or 4 for 1 cost. Eager Page. Beginning of your recollection phase, if you haven't materialized a card, put a buff counter on her. Oh yeah, I've got one of these. Spurn to Ash, destroy a Regalia. Ooh, wow. With memory cost 1 or less. Most of them do. So, wow. Just destroy some Regalia. Pretty good. And it costs 3, but could be very important. Seer's Sword on attack, glimpse 2, and attune with the winds. Put a buff counter on each ally you control for a wind tamer. If you've activated a melody this turn, draw a card. All right, not bad. Just depends on how many allies you have at the time. And 3 is a little high. And I really hope I get that card draw back, because even if it's like super card efficient, you still had to dedicate 3 resources to be able to play it. And being able to pay 3 on top of having to, it basically takes 4 cards, because it takes this card plus the 3 that you spent to your memory. 4 is kind of a lot to have in hand by the time you've gotten more than a couple allies out. So it's kind of a tough call to do all that. But maybe if you build your deck around it, get it to work. We got our level 3 Rye. Song of Nurturing. Allies you control get +2 health. You also get +1 attack if you're a tamer. Set the traps. Target player puts the top 2 cards of their deck to their graveyard, get preparation. Reckless Slash, 2 cost for 3 attack, normal. Cremation Ritual, sacrifice an ally to draw 2 cards. Not sure about that one. Freezing Hail, deal 2 damage to a unit. It doesn't wake up. Banner Knight, 2 cost 1/3, class bonus for warriors, plus level 2. All your allies and weapons get +1 damage. It's pretty solid. It's not super easy to be level 2, and it's for warriors. But 2 is a really nice cost for a 1/3, and that's a pretty strong effect. Channel the Wind, 2 cost, get Enlightened, counter Floating Memory. I like it. Prodigious Burst Mage, on death draw, then discard. 5 cost 3/2 though? No. Gaia's Songbird. Ooh, what is that? 1 cost. On enter, reveal cards from the top of your deck till you reveal a beast. Put it into your hand. I like this one. That's pretty good. So one of the things I noticed, I probably just didn't get enough animals and beasts to really fill out the deck from just the 1 box I opened so far. But getting a lot of cards do care about if you have an animal or beast or want you to have both. Specifically, Sylvie's level 2, and I had a hard time getting animals and beasts out. A lot of the ones I did have were more expensive, so having a cheap beast or cheap animal that helps you find a beast, and it's not, 1/2 doesn't sound great, but those aren't terrible stats for compared to a lot of the other allies in the game. So it's not impressive, but it's kind of impressive as a 1/2 that finds you another card. Yeah, I like this quite a bit. Very good. Clumsy Apprentice was also very pretty, so that's a benefit. Oh, no. I'm sorry. This is a Terra card. You can't play this early. You have to be level 3 to play this. Oh, that's a big difference. You have to be level 3. Even though it's cheap, you have to wait a long time to be able to play it. So I'll still try it out, but yeah, that puts a totally different spin on it. You can't play this early, which is a big difference. All right, so Clumsy Apprentice, 2 cost, 1/1. On enter, deal 2 to your champion and draw a card. Ooh, I like that. I don't mind taking a little bit of damage. And a Sword of Avarice, 2 cost, Crux Regalia weapon. On enter, draw a card. If you're a warrior, draw 2 instead. It seems quite good. You only get 1 swing with it. Oh, big downside is the cost of 2. That's a big memory cost there. But you get to draw 2 cards, and you get to swing once. Oh, and doesn't Lorraine bring out a sword for free? So if you bring out a sword for free, I'm not 100%, but I think she can bring out a sword for free. So if the sword you grab lets you draw 2 cards and you don't have to actually pay that 2, this could be a great first sword for Lorraine. But you'll have to materialize the next turn because your weapon will be gone after that. All right, another Lorraine. Blissful Calling. With the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal an animal or beast, put it into your hand. 1 cost. These look a little better now that I've played Sylvie a few times. Just like being able to find animals and beasts early. Obviously not that Songbird because it's a Terra card, but we saw Stillwater Patrol. Barrier Servant, 3 cost, 2/2. Can intercept, which is really good. And you can spend 2 Enlighten counters. So it seems mostly like a mage thing for now, but it would prevent damage to the Barrier Servant, so she can protect you really well. Accepted Contract, get 3 preparations, but it costs 5. Harness Mana, 0 cost, put any amount of cards from your hand into your memory, and Floating Memory. And one thing, I think I talked about this in the previous box opening because it seemed kind of quirky, but there are reasons that you want to empty your hand. So Rye has at least 1 card in the starter deck that has you discard your hand at the end of the turn. And because in the game you're putting a lot of cards into your memory, it's not always a huge downside. But just you might not be able to quite manage to put everything into your memory safely. So this can let you stow away the rest, which is nice. without actually losing a card or anything. Song of Return costs 1 less for tamers, and you return 2 allies to hands. Okay. Alan, Lineage Break Tamer, Blazing Throw. As an additional cost, sacrifice a weapon to deal 4 damage to a unit. All right, we got Woodland Squirrels. Now here's an early beast, or an early animal. 0 cost, 1/1. Normal type, don't have to worry about the Terra. This is going in the Sylvie deck. Yeah, being able to have an early animal, help with the level 2 triggering and whatnot. And yeah, this will be good. Frostsworn Paladin, intercept. On enter, you can banish a card with floating memory from your graveyard to draw a card and get a buff. So she costs, I mean, that costs a little bit of memory, but costs an extra card, but you get to draw a card. This seems good. Yeah. Good card. And Grand Crusader's Ring, ultra rare, Divine Relic. You can only have 1 card with this keyword in your material deck. Banish it to draw a card. All right, I guess it's good. I had a little rant in the previous video about the best cards being boring looking. I mean, the art's great, but just in terms of the card effect, it's like you get to pay 0 to draw a card, and you can only do this once in your entire deck. It's like really good, but in such a boring, subtle way that it's just hard for me to get excited, but it seems good. It seems good. I've heard that everybody's going to want them. I just wish I could get excited about it. Windstream Mutt. 3 cost 2/2. Reveal a card at random from your memory. If it's wind, choose another ally you control and get a buff. So you have to have another ally and you have to hit the wind from your memory. But all right, 5 cost 2/3 floating memory. Okay. Smack with Flute is not bad. Ignite the Soul, deal 1 damage, floating memory. Veiling Breeze, reveal any number of wind element cards from your memory. Until end of turn, whenever damage will be dealt to your champion, prevent an amount of damage equal to the number of cards revealed this way. So 1 cost, fast card that prevents damage. Just reveal some wind. Some Breaking Wind. Restorative Slash. On attack, recover 3. Magus Disciple, your champion gets +1 level. On death, draw a card if you're a cleric or a mage. Seems good. Wilderness Harpist Stealth if you're a tamer. And whenever you activate a harmony or melody, champion gets +1 level. All right. Seems okay. Not sure. You have to build around it. I don't know what the harmony tamer melody deck looks like, but maybe that's in there. 3 cost arcane cards. You have to be a level 3 mage. Draw 2 cards at the beginning of the next end phase. Discard your hand. So here, oh yeah, so here's our discard your hand card. And then class bonus for an extra card. So just efficiency. We got Wind Resonance Bauble. Draw a card if an opponent has a wind element champion. So this is a kind of like thing where you can like sideboard it. You pre-sideboard by building your material deck with certain silver bullets, I guess. But yeah, like I said, you kind of run out of spots because 4 cards are for your levels and your spirit, and you've got 8 cards left, and some of them you just kind of like need to make your kit run well. So how many can you afford left over to have like very specific things like this that you might never actually want to materialize? And we got a rare Shroud and Mist, 5 cost Water Assassin spell, fast. If you're an assassin, it costs 2 less, only 3. And units you control gain stealth until end of turn. All right, so you just get to sneak in. Nobody can, oh, they just can't be targeted by attacks? This is a defensive card to protect your units. Looks like stealth doesn't sneak past interceptors. Stealth is just a defensive ability. Interesting. All right, next up, got Xander, Korhazi's Chosen. What is this thing? So on enter, he gains stealth and spell shroud, and then until the beginning of your next turn. So it can't be targeted by spells and can't be targeted by attacks. All right, so it's just a purely defensive, double defensive on enter ability. I guess to help you sneak around until you get your damage in. Rally to advance, 2 cost, 1 damage attack. When a guardian or warrior attacks, wake up an ally. Library Witch, Cremation Ritual, Song of Nurturing. Black Market Broker, 4 costs, 2/3, get a preparation. She has stealth as long as your champion has 3 or more preparation counters. I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of preparation to have to save up, it seems like. Well, I guess she gives you 1 of them, though, which is nice. And then the stealth bonus is just that she can't be attacked, which is nice because then it's harder to kill her, which means she can sneak in and do her damage unless your opponent has interceptors, but she only hits for 2. 2's not bad, but I feel like we're jumping through hoops to keep a 2/3 alive. I'm not sure. It is a common. Freeze stiff rests 2 allies. If either of them is attacking, it ends the combat. And if you're a mage, they don't wake up. Juggling knives. Bestial Frenzy. Foil. First foil of the box. Can we see it? Does it show up on camera? Slow down my rotations here so you catch some of the shininess. Choose 1. Class bonus, choose 2 instead. 2 cost. Your champion gets a level until end of turn. A beast gets +1 damage until end of turn. Or a beast gains cleave until end of turn. I don't know what cleave does. Oh, and this is a super rare. This is a foil super rare. So that's pretty cool. Foil super rare. All right. I like the picture. Normal type, so you can go in any tamer deck. I mean, you can go in any deck, but probably just for tamers with the choose 2 and everything. I don't love it when I have to play a card to get a level until end of turn. With a mage, it's a different story, but with a tamer, it's like I kind of just want to be able to build up my level and not have to like have it be temporary. But if you need to like sneak in an attack before you materialize enough regalia with a bigger beater, then sure. But I feel like I'm going to lean toward wanting to do the +1 damage in cleave, even though I don't know what cleave does yet. Monstrous, deadly, and devastating. So we'll do sleeves. Don't worry, we'll do sleeves. But for now, we're just going to put them on the table. Tempest Silverback, 4 cost, 4/4, Pride 5. Gets +2/+2 if you're a tamer. So 4 cost, 6/6 is solid, but Pride 5, you got to be level 5 to control it. Sudden Snow, you can banish a card with floating memory from your graveyard to draw a card. Until end of turn, allies enter rested. Interesting. So I guess if your opponent activates an ally, you can respond. Or I'm not sure what point in their turn you play this, but I feel like it's got to be before their first ally enters. You just want to make sure they're playing 1 or more allies, it enters rested. And a Phalanx Captain's card costs 1 less for each human ally you control. So some human tribal there. 5 for a 1/4 is not good. So hopefully you get that human synergy going. Get some water. Water break. All right. Rye Archmage. Wind Cutter. Sharpening Stone. Dagger or Sword gets +1 until end of turn. Draw a card. Bushwhack Bandits. She's got critical 1. 3 for a 2/1. Those are odd stats. We don't see those stats normally. Damage will be dealt by a sword with a critical 1. Double it unless an opponent discards a card. So 3 cost hits for 4 if your opponent doesn't have any cards in hand. It's not bad. Not bad. I mean, it might be bad, but not bad. 8 cost. Efficiency means it costs less equal to your level. And you get 5 enlightened counters. Not bad. My favorite phrase. 2 cost, Savage Slash, 2 damage, floating memory. Not bad. Good, actually. Sparkle Light, Smoke Bombs, Deep Sea Beast Bonder, Strike from the Mist. Prepare 2, so you can remove 2 preparation counters. Pay 2 to activate it. 2 damage. If you're an assassin and it was prepared, it can't be intercepted. I hope your assassin has some good weapons, because I feel like I don't need to put 2 preparation counters into a hit for 2 damage. But if you got a nice big weapon or a nice big attack score on your assassin, on your character, your hero, your champion, then sure, I guess. Spontaneous Combustion, deal 4 damage to an ally attacking your champion. And Advent of the Stormcaller costs 15. Also a super rare. I don't think I got this one yet. Efficiency, so it costs less equal to your level. If you're a mage, reveal the top level cards of your deck. You may banish any number of arcane element cards from among them. For each card banished this way, choose a unit and deal 2 damage to it. Put the rest of the revealed cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Well, how many arcane cards are in my deck? And I hope I'm winning. So if I need to deal let's say I need to deal 20 more damage to my opponent, because if you're playing a combo-y Rye, you probably didn't deal that much damage early on. Let's see, maybe just snuck in a few points of damage, like 5 damage. Your opponent has 25 health, so you need to do 20 more damage, which means I need to banish 10 arcane cards from the remainder of my deck. I don't know. Is that a lot or a little? I mean, I'm just assuming this is your kill card, right? It costs 15 minus your level when you only get to look at level cards. So what level are you? Are you level 10? Maybe you're level 10, maybe you're level 12. Yeah, I don't know if you're going to get 20 damage out of this. So I guess 20 is probably not happening. But maybe if you can get its cost down to like 3, you can hit for like 6 or 8. I don't know. Maybe it's better than that. I'd like to see it be better than that, but I don't think I want to be the one to try it until it gets proven. Not sure. There's a little Rye, Windstream Mutt, Veteran Soldier, Smack with Flute, Ignite the Soul. I think this is a new art as well. Not sure. Veiling Breeze, Restorative Slash, Magus Disciple, Wilderness Harpist, Creative Shock, 3 cost, draw 2, discard 1 if you're a mage, and a fire element card was discarded, you can deal 2 damage to something. We got Cry for Help, 1 cost, change the target of an attack that targets your champion to an ally you control. If you're a tamer, that ally gets +1 health. I like it. Seems good. Good defense. Throw an attack into one of your beasts or animals that has a big health. And Varric, Smoldering Spire. 3 cost, unique domain, Mage Castle. So upkeep, I think the domain mechanic is basically that upkeep text there. Whenever you materialize a card, you sacrifice it. So once you're kind of settled on your materializations and whatnot, you can then activate your domain and just kind of rest there. And because if you materialize something, it's gone. But damage dealt by fire element sources you control can't be prevented. Okay. Also super rare. I don't know how much damage is being prevented. Seems more likely that you'd be intercepting it or something like that, but I'm sure some decks will actually be preventing it. Seems like wind had a bit of preventing, water has a bit more preventing, but it's not like a core mechanic, right? Your opponent has to be playing cards that specifically prevent damage. Xander, Accepted Contract, Flame Rune Swordsman, 3 cost 2/2 with Floating Memory. Seems good as a class bonus, so mages and warriors only. But it's a nice little matchup. Mages or warriors can use this one. Barrier Servant, Blazing Throw, Owl Familiar. So I do have one of these in the Sylvie deck, and I liked it, but I think another one would be good. Freeze Stiff, Life Essence Amulet, Foil Devastating Blow, and this is a rare. So I got a foil super rare and a foil, or was that a super or ultra? Foil super rare. Oh, my ultra rare was the ring. So I might just be, that might be the only ultra rare, but foil super rare is quite good. And then this is a foil rare in one box. Pretty good. Devastating Blow, 3 cost, Guardian Warrior, Sword, Attack. Class bonus if you're level 3+. Instead of doing 3 damage, it does 7 and cannot be retaliated. I feel like the retaliated part is okay, but if you're just getting a hit in for 7, I'm willing to let you retaliate. But that seems like a nice, strong Fire Warrior attack. Spurn to Ash, another destroy by Regalia, Seer's Sword, and Spirit Blade Ascension. I think that makes 4 of these because they come in the starter deck. I wonder if I'm halfway through. I feel like I got a lot of hits already with the ultra rare, foil super rare, foil rare, invigorated slash, imbue in frost. Target sword weapon you control gets +2 until end of turn, +2 damage, 3 cost, floating memory. Okay. Oh, okay. So this could be nice if you're attacking with that same weapon multiple times. I was trying to think, why isn't it just an attack? And I guess that would be the answer, is you can reuse that weapon. If you can figure out how to ready that weapon and attack with it again, that could be pretty good. Library Witch, summon Gales, a 3 cost fast spell with efficiency for mages. Return an ally to its owner's hand. Weaponsmith adds durability to one of your weapons every turn. It's a 1/3 for 2. It's pretty good. Embertail Squirrel, on attack you can discard a fire element card to give it +2 damage. So it's 2 costs for a 2/1, but it can hit for 4 if you discard fire. And you might want to discard fire because there's a lot of fire cards that care about having fire in your discard. Honorable Vanguard just says floating memory. She's solid. Poised Strike, prepare 1 on hit. If it was prepared, wake up your champion. All right. 2 cost, 3 damage. Spend a preparation to get to attack again. Seems good. Curved Dagger for assassins. 1 use, 1 damage. As long as your champion is attacking an ally, it's +1 damage. So you can pick off your opponent's allies. Arcane Blast attacks for 11 damage. Well, it's not an attack, but hits for 11 damage. Costs 11 minus your level. So compare that to the one that was 15. If this is 11, has efficiency, and deals 11, I would expect this card to be able to deal 15, right? I don't know if that math works out exactly, but 11 cost 11 damage, 15 cost 15 damage. But I feel like hitting for 15 with that card would be very challenging. I could be wrong, but this seems more reliable by a large margin, and it's cheaper. So I don't know. If you want to do more damage than this with the other card, you need to hit 6 arcane cards. I don't know what percentage of your deck can be arcane because you need to be able to play before you get to level 3. So you can't have that many arcane cards in your deck. I don't know, man. We'll see. And rare Call the Pack. Costs 2 less for tamers. So instead of 4, it would cost 2. And for each animal you control, you can put a beast from your hand onto the field. All right. So you get a bunch of animals out. Drop a bunch of beasts for free if you've got them in your deck. And you have to be level 3 to play it because it's a Terra card. So level 3 Sylvie. I don't think I'm going to have the deck to include that, although it would be fun somewhere down the Grand Archive line. They have announced a second set, so more cards coming. Something about a crown? Don't remember. Cost 1 if you have a sword. Cost 1 less. Cost 1 less if you have a sword, which is 0. Prevent 3. So I guess if they're Varric, that's not going to be prevented. Juggle Knives, Favorable Winds, Peer into Mana. Fire Resonance Bauble, so another sideboard card, but against fire. Terra Sight. I think I got 2 of these before. Now this might be my 3rd one. It's a Terra card, so you have to be level 3, and it costs 0, and it preserves. So after you resolve it, you put it into your materialized deck, and you can materialize this into your hand instead of a normal materialization. And its effect is draw a card. So the main downside of this card is just that you can't play it till you're level 3. It's going to be clogging up your hand until then. And a Hurricane Sweep. Costs 5. Attacks for 1. Oh, Cleave. Attack all units a chosen opponent controls. And it can't be intercepted. All right, so that's what Cleave is. So that Bestial Fury lets your... Ooh, it lets your beast or attack all your opponent's stuff at once. That is a big deal. That is a huge deal. +1 damage, and it attacks everything. Imagine... even just putting that on the basic boars or whatever from the beginning of the box opening. Was that in the first pack? It was not in the first pack. But even just this wolf, you raise its attack up from 2 up to 3, and then it attacks everything on your opponent's side. Most allies don't have that much health. I mean, 3 is kind of high. 4 is like quite high. 5, I don't even know. 5 is probably only on very rare cards. So if you can get something up to 4 attack and it attacks your opponent's whole field, and then they can't even intercept it, their champion has to take it because they can't intercept, because whatever would be intercepting is already being attacked by that same effect. So yeah, that bestial nonsense, I can see why that's a super rare. Because just from the Cleave ability. And I guess so it's definitely giving Cleave. The question is, do you need the level, or do you already have the level, in which case here's a free point of attack? That's the main question the card is asking you. It's like, hey, you're going to get to attack everything. Do you need the level bonus to afford a pride requirement or not? If you don't, here's more damage. Glacial Guidance. Rest target ally if it's attacking and combat. Class bonus for mages, get an enlightenment. I like this. This is good. Solid. Tristan, Assassin Lineage Break. Song of Return. Costs 1 less. Oh, yep, we read that one. Beastbond Ears. So this is one of the ones I was talking about. One of the first things to materialize as Sylvie, probably even before you get to level 3. Maybe even before you get to level 2, if you don't really want to spend the cost on it, on leveling up. You can just bring out this 0 cost, get an extra level as long as you have an animal or beast. If you don't have an animal or beast, you probably don't need the level, because the main reason tamers need levels is for reaching pride requirements. So it's kind of it's a common, but I feel like it's a staple until there's like better stuff. I mean, there are other more rare cards that have more abilities than that, but you may as well bring out that one too. You can stack multiple levels up. Blazing Dire Wolf, Pride 5, 4 cost, 4/4. When it attacks, if you're a tamer, deal 2 damage to a unit. All right, so this is pretty solid. Pride 5 is high. Again, that's what the ears are for, helping you reach those higher levels. But yeah, this is a solid beater. It only costs 4. I like it. Safeguard Amulet. Whenever you're a champion to take non-attack damage, prevent 4 of it. You have to banish this. So 1 time, prevent 4. Unless your opponent has Varric. And then here is another Devastating Blow. But not in foil this time. Very, very disappointed in you, Devastating Blow, for not being foil. I guess they can't all be foil. there ever been a card that only appeared in foil? Probably. Probably made a lot of players mad when they did it, whoever they is. Give my... Oh, nope, can't rest. Wait, nope, we did see that one earlier. It's giving my voice a break. Arrow Trap. Uncommon. 2 cost. Fast reaction. Return target attacking ally to its owner's hand. If you're an assassin or ranger and it was prepared, you spend a preparation counter, destroy it instead. So just destroy an attacker. Seems good. Mind Freeze, banish level cards at random from target opponent's memory. Return those to their memory at the beginning of their next end phase. So you're denying them cards in hand for 1 turn, but they get them back for the following turn. And it costs 5 and has floating memory. I feel like that's not bad. It's a pretty nice slowing tactic for a mage, because mage's main thing they need to do is slow. The main question is, how are you advancing your own game plan on the turn you play this, because that is a huge memory cost. And then Rending Flames. I think I got a foil one of these in my previous box. I'm getting foil fire rares, but again, non-foil this time. 3 cost, 3 damage attack. You can banish 3 fire element cards from your graveyard, and it gains the text whenever it would deal damage, it deals double. And that damage, I think, can be added to. So it's not just 3 getting doubled. It could be from your weapon. It could be if your champion has an attack stat that could be more than 3 that's getting doubled. At least that's how I imagine it would work. And if not, then I would play it wrong. There's a Lorraine. Another bull. I don't like the bull. I like the other thing. The 4/4. Strategic planning. Channel the Wind. Do we see this already? 3 enlightenment counters and floating memory. I like it. Solid. Young Beast Bonder. On enter, if you're playing a tamer, get a buff counter on another ally. If it was a beast, put 2. And floating memory. This is pretty solid. Nice stuff. You have to be careful with the tamer not to play too many allies that aren't beasts and animals, because there's so many beast and animal synergies. But this is another solid one. Reckless Researcher costs 3 for a 1/1. On enter, you can banish a fire element from your graveyard to choose a unit and deal 2. That seems good. And a Chalice of Blood rare. Banish it to draw 2 cards, but only if your champion has 20 or more damage. Sure. Free draw card. You just have to wait till you've taken 20 damage. But yeah, seems usable. I guess the main downside would be like, do you go from 19 damage to dead in 1 turn and then you never get a chance to use the Chalice of Blood? How often does that happen? That's the question. Intrepid Highwayman costs 3 for a 1/2. It has intercept. Class bonus for assassins to have floating memory. But as long as it's retaliating, it has +3 attack. So you don't want to attack into that. 3 cost 2/3 intercept. Trusty Steed, 4 cost 1/3 on enter. Another target ally gets +2 damage until end of turn. I feel like 4 is a bit high, but this is in my deck for now. Trained Hawk. True Sight can attack stealth and vigor. Wakes up during your end phase, so it can still retaliate if it is attacked. Fireball costs 4, deals 1+ level damage, and if you're a mage, it costs 2 less. A nice big hit for damage. Mordred, attack cards in your graveyard have floating memory. Oh, this is a Lineage Break Warrior. Okay, I was gonna say that's really strong, but that's a champion ability, so still good, quite good. Yeah, those Lineage Break champions are for draft, I believe, mostly. Chilling Touch, banish a card at random from target opponent's memory, return it at the beginning of the next end phase. And that just costs 1. So a little bit cheaper way to disrupt your opponent, as opposed to the other one we saw, which costs 5, but takes like their whole hand. Empowering Harmony, I think we saw this one. Crux Sight. You may pay an additional 2 as you activate it. If you do, banish it as it resolves, and then return a Crux element card from your graveyard to your hand, and draw a card. So it's 0 cost, draw a card, but only if you are level 3 warrior, at least out of set 1. If you're watching this and set 2 is already being spoiled or released or set 5 or whatever, and it's 3 years later and you're still watching this, yeah, I'm sure there are more champions that use Crux but aren't warriors. But for now, you got to be Lorraine, and you got to be level 3. So you can pay 2 to draw a card and get another Crux card back to your hand. So that can be good, because a lot of those Crux cards are like combo-y, and like you want to play a bunch of them in one turn, so this helps you double up and repeat and do good stuff. Giant Tortoise, just a 4-cost 1/6. That's a lot of health, but I don't know what you're going to do with it. It doesn't intercept, right? And Beseech the Winds, super rare. 3 cost, materialize a card from your material deck. So you get an extra materialization. Camelot's Splendor arises from the blessing of the winds. So an extra materialization, you still have to pay. So it kind of, if you have some kind of stuff you need to ramp out, or if you want to level up really quickly and you can afford it in terms of the cards that you're going to lose, seems cool. But yeah, you definitely got to know what you're doing to play with that. That's not something you can just throw into your new beginner deck, because you'll mess yourself up. I mean, I guess there could be Regalia that you could bring out early that could be worth it. I don't know, at least in the games I played, because we just playing with a starter deck and a deck built out of one box, the games do not go that fast. So being able to like spend basically a turn playing this card in order to advance my materialization process by 1 turn is just probably not worth it, because you'll get the turn you need to materialize what you need. If the games are faster and the decks are more efficient, I can see this being better, but I still think you need to have a plan. You need to have a reason to materialize 2 cards in 1 turn. Anyway, I think it'd be fun to play with. I just don't think it's for the faint-hearted. You need to know what you're doing, and I don't. Not yet. Set the Traps, Reckless Slash, Cremation Ritual, Crystal of Empowerment, Drowned Cut, Opening Cut, Menagerie Beast Bonder, Melodious Flute, another +1 level if you have an animal or beast, and you can banish it to make a harmony into a melody for harmony melody synergies. Unlike the Beast Spawn ears, though, this actually costs 1, so unless you're using that class bonus melody nonsense, this is a more expensive way to get the +1 level, but you might need it. Sink into Oblivion. Target player puts the top 13 cards of their deck in their graveyard. And a Fervent Beastmaster. Another super rare. What's my number of super rares here? It seems high. Fervent Beastmaster, 5 costs 3/3 for a Tamer again. Class bonus to have Vigor, so it can attack and retaliate. As long as you control a beast, it has +1/+1. 5 cost 4/4 with Vigor. Seems pretty good. The only downside is that it is not a beast or an animal. And 5 is pricey. 5 is a lot to pay for something that isn't a beast or an ally. I mean, I guess it doesn't have Pride, which is a nice bonus. You don't have to worry about getting your level high enough. So it'd be kind of an interesting Tamer deck that relies on Beastmasters rather than some other expensive finisher. The Pause costs 0, but they have to be banished to give an animal or beast +1 damage and True Sight till end of turn. Set the Traps, Scry the Skies, Glimpse equal to your level, and then draw a card into your memory for just 1 cost. Rallied Advance, Owl Familiar, Merlin, Memory Thief, Poised Strike, Foil Water Resonance Bauble. So very pretty. And this is our 3rd Resonance Bauble. So I got 1 of each element, but now this one's foil. And again, very nice looking. Still not sure if they're good. But if they are, having a foil one's super nice. Blue Slime, Pride 4. Saw one of these earlier. I like it. Second Wind, wake up an ally. If you're a warrior, gets +1 attack until end of turn. Oh, this one's interesting. So I guess you can play it on your own turn to attack again, which hopefully is worth the cost of 3. Or you can use it as a surprise on your opponent's turn when they attack into that ally. You ready it, and then you can retaliate and take out their attacker. But again, you got to keep up 4 cards in your hand to be able to deal with this. Or if you have an interceptor, you wake up the interceptor that your opponent didn't expect to be able to intercept. Now you're playing a super defensive warrior. So it seems like the extra attack, the primary use of this, in which case your ally had better be hitting harder than your hero. Otherwise, I'd rather just have another attack card. So I'm not sure about this one. And Uncover the Plot. It's the first Luxem card, I think. Target player reveals all cards in their memory. Then you draw a card. And if you're an assassin, you get 2 preparation counters. All right. There you go. I gotta say, assassin is not getting me excited. I mean, I wasn't excited from the beginning. There was a vote during the Kickstarter for which class to add as the 4th class, because they were already going to do Rye and Lorraine for sure. And then they were like the headliners, and they were also going to do Sylvie for sure, which is part of the reason I backed the Kickstarter in the first place. But then there was a vote for who the 4th class would be. And I don't remember which one I voted for, but I know it was not Assassin. So I wouldn't say I'm like disappointed. I think it's fine. But I'm just not. When you open packs of TCGs, not every card's for you. And this is one that's not. I'd still play Assassin. I'd still put a deck together if I have the cards. But it's just not like a thing I'm excited to do. Revitalizing Cleanse. I think we saw that one. Oh, here's the board. These are the boards I was talking about. So it's just a common. Something special. But yeah, Bestial Fury on this. Hit all your opponents everything for 5. Whew. Wind Cutter. Merlin. Planted Explosive. Veiling Breeze. Restorative Slash. Purge and Flames. Fiery Momentum. +1 damage. 3 cost, 2 damage attack. For Warrior. Class bonus for Warriors. +1 damage for each fire in your graveyard. So you gotta walk the line. There's a balance, or maybe a deck building decision. Like, are you willing to banish the fire from your graveyard, or do you really want to keep them there, keep them built up? In a Miss Resonance rare 5 cost fast action, allies you control get +1 health until end of turn. If you're a tamer and you've activated a melody this turn, your allies assign damage with their life instead of power until end of turn. I think I have one of these, so now that's 2. A lot of the beasts, though, especially the strongest ones, have matching attack and health. So dealing damage equal to life is more for like the 1/4s of the world. I mean, there are beasts and animals that have that, but I feel like it's mostly the humans who have the mismatched stats. I could be speaking out of turn there. Let's see if I can get this pack open. All right, I did it. I was successful. Xander, Crusader of Asa, enters rested 3, cost 2/4, class bonus for Warriors, intercept. Seems solid. Mark the target. Scry the skies. Give the bath. Black market broker. Harness the mana. Idle thoughts. Look at the top. I was just saying the for fun. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, then put them back in any order. Floating memory, 1 cost. Blazing Throw, Focused Flames, Beast Bond Boots. Champion gains Spell Shroud until end of turn, which can make your opponent waste a target against you, especially if your opponent is Rye. And Dungeon Guide. Oh, she's a rare. Okay, so this is in the precon, I think, but she's a rare. So 3 cost 1/3. You can banish 2 cards at random from your memory to level up, which can be quite good, especially if you're going to level 3, because going from 1 to 2 going from 0 to 1 only costs 1 card from your memory. So this would not be very efficient for that, for sure. Going to level 2 costs 2 cards from your memory, so this is just a way to speed it up a little bit. And you get a 1/3 out of the deal. So in that case, I think this is much better than that wind card I was talking about earlier, if you're specifically looking to level up. If you need to, you're something else, some regalia item or something, then you might need that wind card. But if you're just leveling up, Dungeon Guide does the trick, especially if you're leveling from 2 to 3. Normally going from 2 to 3 would cost 3 cards from your memory. She only makes you pay 2. So you actually get a discount on top of a ramp up in speed, on top of getting a 1/3 at the end. So pretty good card there, the Dungeon Guide. And she's normal type. And she doesn't have any class bonuses or anything. She's for anybody who likes leveling up. And Dungeon Guide can help you. Rye, Inspiring Call. Cost 2 lets if your champion has attacked. Allies you control get +1 attack until end of turn. Draw a card into your memory. It's a perfectly fine place to put the card. Sudden Steel, Bushwhack Bandit, Careful Study, Owl Familiar, Freeze Stiff, Life Essence Amulet, Dewdrop Hairs. Very cute. 2 cost 1/3 Floating Memory. I don't think I have this, but this is nice and solid. And there's a beast that has a higher health than attack. So there you go. All right, I need one more foil. I think this would have been. I think this would have been the slot with the foil. I need one more foil, one more ultra rare, super rare. I don't need it. I got a good box. I think it's pretty good. But yeah, let's still hope for it, right? We got one more pack. This is the penultimate pack. Let's see. No foil here, but 3 cost, fast, action. Allies you control get +1 attack or life until end of turn. Class bonus for warriors for floating memory. Fast, yeah, seems good. Well, that's okay. Prahazi Lightblade, uncommon. 2 cost, 2/2. Another Luxem card. And says you have to be a level 3 assassin for this. When she attacks, if you're an assassin, reveal cards from the top. Reveal a card from your memory at random. If a Luxem element card was revealed, she gains critical 1, so double damage, unless your opponent discards a card. Yeah, that seems good. And Ensnaring Flames, Assassin Skill, 5 cost. Class bonus for floating memory. You can remove 3 preparations. Rather than paying the reserve cost of 5, return all allies to their owner's hands. So is the assassin deck? I mean, I would have thought assassin was like aggro, but it seems like assassin is just like stealthy, stay back, stay away from me, but then you just like sneak in damage all the time. It seems like that maybe that's what the assassin's trying to do. Don't hit me, I'll hit you, and I'll get you eventually. I would have thought they set up for a big strike, but I guess that's what Rye is doing technically. Just like stalling, setting up, stalling, and then he hits you for 25 damage in 1 turn. The assassin has to do something different. So the assassin is stalling, but also sneaking in damage, stalling, sneaking in damage, stalling, sneaking in damage. Tamer's like, I'm building up. This is a crescendo, and I'm going to hit you eventually for really hard. Or it's like it's going to build up over time. And the warrior is like, let's get this over right away. I'm level 3 already, and I'm already hitting you with swords. That's the general vibe I got. Final pack. Let's see what we got. Xander, Always Watching. Sharpening Stone. Kingdom Informant. 2 cost 1/2 stealth. Floating Memory for assassins. Seafaring Mercenary. So I guess that's the thing is about stealth. It is defensive in that it can't be attacked, but it kind of makes it offensive in that means your opponent can't stop it from hitting them over and over again, right? They can't attack this to get rid of it, so they got to do something else. They're going to have to play a card or something to get rid of it because they can't just attack it with allies or their weapons or whatever. Anyway, Seafaring Mercenary, Refurbish, Magus Disciple, Wilderness Harpist, Weaponsmith, Planted Explosive, other squirrels. Nice. No foil, but more squirrels is good. Another one of these. I like this one too. This is a pretty cool card. I like this one. I like ice stuff too, so I like the visuals a lot on it. And finally, we got Frozen Nova. 8 cost mage spell with efficiency, costs less equal to your level if you're a mage, and deals 1 damage to all allies and rests them. They don't wake up. It's a nice slowing card. Just a little bit of damage in case they have tiny life stats. So, not a great hit at the end, but perfectly reasonable. Rare, 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 rare. Foil uncommon. Super rare. Super rare. Rare, 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 rare. Foil rare. Super rare. Super rare. Whoa. Rare. Foil super rare. Rare. Ultra rare. rare, 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 super rare, super rare, rare. Okay, yeah, that's a lot, right? I'm excited about this one. This is craziness. We got the bear. We got the ring. Got a foil rare, foil uncommon. I mean, didn't even get a foil common. I got 3 other non-common rarities as foils. And like a whole big lineup of 6 super rares. Alright, so successful box opening. Box successfully opened. Stay tuned for what I'm able to build. I'm not saying it'll be immediate, but I do definitely plan to get some more games of Grand Archive with physical cards that I've actually opened rather than just demo decks onto the channel. Let me know which deck or matchup you're most interested in, or if you've watched both my box openings, what deck should I build? What element should I put with Lorraine and with Xander? Do I keep Rye as fire, right? He's fire in the precon, I think. Do I keep Sylvie as water? Or do I have other tamer cards that are better? I don't know. Let me know. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and bye.